Today I'm here with Chosen on the channel, and it's no secret. Chosen was someone that was really heavy into Diablo Immortal, has since stepped away from the game with big plans for the channel and for his whole Diablo experience moving forward. So I wanted to bring him on the channel and just have a little back and forth talk with you, Chosen, about maybe why you decided to leave Diablo Immortal, what was it lacking, and to be honest, a lot of us are feeling very similar. We're kind of in the dumps about Diablo Immortal, so I figured we just kind of vibe back and forth about it. Thanks for coming through today. How you doing?
Hey, yeah, thanks. Doing great. It's fun to finally link up with you. I know we've been trying for a while, and it's hard to get schedules to align, but I'm excited to be over here on your channel.
Thanks, man. It's a pleasure to have you. So let's dive right into it. Let's just get right into the main question. And I know you did cover it on your channel, but for people that maybe haven't been to your channel, we'll be leaving links and everything later on in the video for that. Why did you decide, someone like myself who is heavily invested in Diablo Immortal, you thought that Diablo Immortal YouTube channel was going to be this massive future for you and it would be something that you play for years and build upon? Same thing that I felt and many others. So how do you go from that feeling to the feeling of this game is not right for me to do what I'm looking to do, and I need to move on and transition into something else? What went on in your head to make you make that decision?
Yeah, that's how long you got,
I got time.
That's a big one to get into. Yeah, well, and it was hard, out the gate because the beta was so exclusive that I could never really see the game. So Diablo Immortal was this weird, like, you get rumblings of how amazing it is, but you don't have access to try it. So you're just kind of trusting everybody's, and the game was so hyped up by the people that tried it in the beta that we were like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be. I was like, but we were like, and we had nothing to go off of other than that. So yeah, I mean, obviously there hasn't been a Diablo game since Diablo 3, which is like 10 years ago. So we're all thinking like this is gonna be the next big thing. It's Diablo going on into mobile, and it was fun for a little bit, but eventually, I just decided that it was time to kind of move on, just because I've got so many different things going on.
Yeah, so what else do you have going on? I know that you have your Raid Shadow Legends channel, which is like your main channel, and now you mentioned you have other projects going on because, of course, you're not going to build up a Diablo Immortal channel and then just stop playing the game and let it die. So why don't you fill us in a little bit about what your plans are for that channel, and then I want to get into some specifics about the game, not like YouTuber related, but more player related as to what you didn't like about Diablo Immortal.
Sure. Yeah. So my Diablo channel actually existed for years. I was a Diablo 3 content creator. Diablo 3 was my main game for like 5 years, and then when I discovered Raid, that was doing well for me, so I ended up transitioning. I made like an emotional video on my Diablo channel talking about why I was quitting and how I didn't want to, but I was just too busy. And so I said like someday I'll be back, and that day is now. Now we're here with Diablo Immortal and Diablo 4. So I'm excited about all that. But yeah, no, it just moving on over to doing the Raid stuff like 6 hours a day, and then we're building like a website that's going to cover all the games that we play as like an Aftershock team. So Raid and Diablo 4 and anything else that we branch out into. So that's a big project, and there was just too much on my plate to keep doing Diablo Immortal on top of all of that.
All right, so in a nutshell, you're not just starting a new YouTube channel covering a different game. You're building essentially a whole network around the games that you're playing, a whole like resource compound, right?
Yeah, similar. Everybody's familiar with Maxroll. So they've got a team, and then they cover all the games that they play. And we want to do something, just kind of similar with our friends group and the clan that we have.
I love that. That's a great idea. Maxroll does well. I could see you guys doing well also in that space. Under the umbrella of AMG, you said, right?
Yeah, yep. So, a lot of us content creators are represented by Aftershock Media Group, and then we're kind of building like a community and a gaming website underneath their umbrella with their support, and it's been a blast so far. We're probably like 5 months into the project, so yeah, everything's kind of ramping up just in time for kind of the Diablo 4 beta.
Nice, man. I love it. And I love that it's part of AMG. I'm with AMG as well. I think they're great. So a little shout to them. All right, so let's get to the game itself, because everyone watching this video is not a YouTuber, a content creator, website developer, so they may not care about that. What are some of the things that you just didn't like about Diablo Immortal? Was it like the whole gem residence thing that was like the big umbrella complaint, or was it smaller things that added up over time? I know I have a few things that I don't care for, but I'm curious to hear what you struggled with, what really made you say this just isn't going to work.
Yeah, the top The resonance was a big thing. You know, I come from a StarCraft background back in the day. That was my first love in gaming, was StarCraft 1, StarCraft 2. So I love competition. I love PvP, but whenever there's pay to win, it kind of turns me off, as a lot of us old school gamers probably. But I get it. It's a mobile game. I mean, I play Rage of Legends. Like I understand. Like I'm not a hypocrite, but it's like, you know, when a game has pay to win aspects, I'm gonna play it more for the community and more for the RPG aspect, as opposed to trying to win. Now, if I log on to StarCraft, I'm playing to win. Like it's a different kind of vibe. It's a different way that I play the game. So it just kind of depends on how it's structured. But yeah, the resonance, the daily caps. I mean, as a Diablo 3 content creator and a Diablo grinder, I hate the caps. I want to be able to farm as much XP as I can and as many gems as I can. And I also really love the economy aspect of these games. So some of the cooldowns on the market really turned me off. My full-time job before content creation was in finance. So I love the stock market. I love buying low, selling high, flipping stuff. And the market just wasn't fun in Diablo Immortal with all the time caps and only having a certain amount of trades and stuff. So I would say that was like the big ones. And then there was so much drama in the clan. Everybody's fighting over defending the vault. And I've never led a clan that was as hard with as much drama as Diablo Immortal. So it was kind of a big conglomeration of those things.
Yeah, that's something that we knew was going to be an issue in alphas and betas, was when we heard about how this immortal versus shadow element and how all this stuff worked. We knew that it was going to be like political battles and internal conflict. And I think that's part of, some people love that kind of thing. For you, and I guess for me as well, I'm not into that either. We're also starting to see other things too, besides gem resonance and the caps on the shop and the caps on how many gems you can get and all that type of stuff. There's a lot of limitations for people that want to just grind 7 to 10 hours a day, like you're saying. And I feel what I've been talking about lately on the channel, my I guess my heaviest topic is, it's a mobile game that's not acting like a mobile game. It doesn't have those mobile gaming elements to it that make your typical mobile gamer want to be going back and playing, or as I said in some previous videos, like addicted to. And examples I've given were, you know, Clash Royale. We've probably all played Clash Royale. You know, you wake up and you want to log in. You're driven to do something inside of that game. In Diablo Immortal, that need, that addiction, and I'm not saying addiction in a negative way, but that desire to log in just to see what the day has to bring isn't there. You log into Diablo Immortal to continue your grind, which is more normal with a action RPG and people that play that on PC. The issue is the audience isn't a PC audience. So you have mobile gamers who aren't getting what they are used to in mobile games, and you're getting PC gamers who are getting what they're used to on PC, but on a platform they don't want to play. And I feel like there's some disconnect there, personally.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, anytime you have an IP like Diablo that's been PC since 1996, like I always told people, if the game was called, you know, Immortals Clash and it had nothing to do with Diablo, like if you just take Diablo out of the name, it would have gotten like 1% of the backlash that it gotten. But when you call it a Diablo game, it's just natural that, you know, the Diablo gamers are a specific type of gamer in that IP, and there's obviously going to be backlash if there's caps and some of the stuff that you mentioned.
Yeah, I agree. So how do you feel about action RPGs overall in the mobile space? Because when you think about it right now, in 2022, we had 3 big ones come out: Diablo Immortal, Undecember, and Torchlight Infinite. I thought all 3 of them were going to be amazing, and I do think they are really good games. I don't want to go out and say that I think they weren't, and I really do still love Diablo Immortal. I know these discussions kind of make it look like I'm hating on the game, which I'm not. I'm just kind of calling it out for what it is. But none of them, Diablo Immortal is the biggest by far. Undecember has its more niche group, and I think that's more of a PC group, to be honest, because it's on Steam. And Torchlight, it's like lost in the wind. I feel like no one's even playing Torchlight Infinite. And I played all of them. I think they're all very good. I had to like choose the one I was going to stay with for the channel, which was Diablo Immortal. So with Diablo Immortal probably being the top of the mountain for action RPGs on mobile, and I don't see anything coming in the near future to dethrone it, it's still like nowhere's near the top of games that are like the most popular on mobile or the most played on mobile. So do you think that there's an issue with the genre itself? Is it too serious for mobile, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, it's well, I mean, and success is always, different. Like financially, the game was definitely successful.
True.
But in terms of like player base and popularity and love from the community and all that stuff, definitely was underwhelming compared to what we thought it was going to be in the beta. And yeah, I think there's just a disconnect from the Diablo gamer and what that kind of person is looking for, as opposed to, and it's also like it's hard to grind XP on your phone for 3 hours for 3 hour sessions. You need to get like one of those controllers to help you out, or try to play on a tablet or a PC. The cross-platform did help a lot, but I think it definitely has challenges in the ARPG market when it comes to mobile. And yeah, some of those other games you mentioned, I think were really close. I think they were decent. They're not quite. They didn't quite catch me like Diablo 3 did, but I thought they were pretty decent.
All right, so tell me a little bit more. What are like if you had to name your top 3 games of all time? They don't need to be mobile. What would, just so I could learn, because this is the first time you and I ever really talking like in a video. What are your favorite 3 games ever? Is StarCraft one of them? Would I guess properly there?
Yeah, StarCraft. And then probably Diablo. Like the Diablo franchise, like Diablo 2, Diablo 3 are both like tied for me. And then like as a kid, I know Ogre Battle was like my favorite franchise, which you probably don't even know what that is.
I don't know
It's a
that one.
yeah. And it was like the best game on the Super Nintendo for its time. It was like an RPG where you build an army and you upgrade your characters and take down different maps. But yeah, me and my
Interesting.
friends group as kids growing up, the fight at my school was who was going to get to the video store first to rent Ogre Battle that weekend.
Oh my God, you just brought back renting video games, man.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't thought about that for a minute. All right, so let's kind of close things out here with, and I don't know if you casually play Diablo Immortal or if you kind of put it down and that was it, but if there's anything, and Blizzard has been putting out updates, and disregarding the one that is coming out in a few days, which I think is very lackluster, and a lot in the community would agree. The updates have bettered the game over time. It's bettered it for free-to-play players. None of the updates have come out and made the game worse. So that's a good thing. I don't think it's enough, but it's still a positive thing. What do you think the game needs to make it just over the top a success? Like if there were one umbrella feature you could bring to the game, what would it need? And I didn't prep you on any of these questions, so hopefully I'm not like drilling your brain
Good.
too
It's all
much.
good. I think like if they were gonna do one thing, I would say allowing resonance to be grinded for. I would say allowing the player base to actually have a realistic path to farming resonance, because obviously I know how the real world works, and these mobile games, they have to make money. That's just how it works. But I think there's a way to do it where like whales and people that spend, they have an advantage and it's easier for them to get resonance, but there's still a path for a dedicated free to play player to get close to as strong as a whale if they're dedicated. I think that's the proper way to pull off pay to win. It's never going to be perfect, but as long as whales have an advantage, and it's like a whale might be able to get the same power by playing 1 hour a day as opposed to a free to play player that plays 4 hours a day. You know what I mean?
Yes, I like that. And so my main channel, or my first channel, I should say, I started on Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, bro. So I was big into the Supercell, and I think they did it right. Like and I remember when people used to call Clash of Clans pay to win, and then you compare that to like games now. But like you could get exactly where someone that pays for the upgrades could get just from grinding. It would take you longer, it would be more time invested, but you could get to the same spot. And I mean, that, in my opinion, that's a very light form of monetization. But Clash of Clans is probably the best example of a game that has monetization, that helps you progress, but doesn't get you somewhere that others can't get to. And that is a massive success 10 years in running. So,
Well, yeah, and also some of those games like Clash Royale, they've got modes where it's not pay to win at all, like tournament
yeah.
standard, where you can go into challenges and you can test your skill. Something I really liked in Diablo Immortal was when they had the fractured plane. Like that's an example of something that's cool, where it doesn't matter how much money you spend. And if they would have had like leaderboards and all sorts of stuff
Yes.
for the fractured plane, that would have been amazing.
Yeah, and in my opinion, what they need is a HUD where you log in, where it's like the event HUD, just like in any of these other mobile games where they have all these events, fractured plane, maybe a few different PvP modes that don't take into account your purchased power, and maybe you go in with some type of you could build out your loadout like you would in a Call of Duty type game. if it had that type of mini game opportunities along with the Diablo, the normal Diablo, I think that would make it a success. I've talked about it a little bit on the channel. But that's very out of the realm of what Diablo games are. So on one hand, I say I understand why they don't do that. That's not typically what a Diablo game is. And on the other hand, that's what mobile games that are successful have. So, it's back and forth, I guess.
Yeah, it's tough to marry those two worlds, like you said.
Yeah, it totally is. But hey, man, this was great. I'd love to have you back on the channel. Maybe when you get things running, we could talk about what you have going and share with the community what's going on in your world and everything that you're building. But for now, I'm going to be linking his channels, both channels, in the comments section or in the description of this video. Make sure you go check it out. And Joseph, thanks for coming through, man. I appreciate your time, brother.
Yeah, you bet, man. It's really fun to finally get to chat with you. Appreciate you having me, and I'm sure we'll hang out again soon.
I would like that. And everybody, make sure you sub to the channel and check out Chosen. If you like what you see, do the same over there. Take care.